Slope of a line, letter M. Okay, one very important concept in mathematics is slope. It has a very close relationship with the rate of change. All right, so M is defined to be the change in y divided by the change in x. The formula is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. This is the rise divided by the run. Okay, it's the rise over the run. So if you're given a point, so you have some point, x1 comma y1, and some other point, x2 comma y2. Right? This point right here, this is x1 over here. This is y1. Down here, that's x2, and this is y2. So that slope is the change in y divided by the change in x. So this change in y right here, that's the delta y, and this is the change in x, the delta x. How much x changes versus how much y changes, okay? So what does slope measure? Slope measures the steepness of, steepness, maybe that doesn't have two E's, I don't know, whatever, close, steepness of a line, okay? Slope is measuring the steepness of a line, maybe it does, whatever, who cares? All right, so if the slope of the line, the magnitude is bigger, so maybe this has a slope m equal to 1, okay, right? So if you had another point maybe up here, okay, this would have a slope maybe equal to 2, and then maybe another point up here, maybe that has a slope equal to 5, whatever, right? Now, you could have the scenario going in the other direction, okay? The slope between those 2 points, instead of it being 1, it's less than 1. It's like m is like 1/3, right? Okay? Until, what happens until we kind of rotate down to this horizontal here, this would be an example where the slope, there's no change in the steepness. Okay, so if we are dealing with a horizontal line, okay, then we have y equals some number, like we talked about earlier. They have a slope m equal to 0. Okay, so steepness is, if it's horizontal, then there's no steepness. It's like you're walking just on the ground. That's a slope of 0. Now, the more extreme scenario would be the vertical line. The vertical line. Now, this is x equal to 0, or I'm sorry, x equals to a number. And when you think about this, what is happening? Well, the closer and closer we get to being vertical, the bigger and bigger my slope is getting, right? So it would seem that we're approaching some number that's like uber big, right? So that's a really big number, okay? And so what's happening, this thing is kind of like it's approaching a slope of infinity. Now, infinity is an idea, not a number. okay? So what's really happening, okay, what's really happening is we're getting so infinitely big. Why? Because the change in the x is getting really small. And as we get closer and closer to a vertical line, if we're dealing with a vertical line at x1, then it doesn't matter what y value I pick, the denominator is still the same. And so, whatever y2 minus y1 we have, you're going to have x1 minus x1, which gets you some number divided by 0. And that is undefined. Undefined slope. Okay? So the slope for a vertical line is undefined. So you see something of the form a number divided by 0. That's slope of a vertical line. If you have 0 divided by some number, that's of the form horizontal. So you see how these are reciprocals of each other, okay? Reciprocals of each other. Interesting. A vertical line is the reciprocal slope of a horizontal line. Interesting there, okay? So that's kind of the idea. The closer and closer we get to a vertical line, the bigger and bigger our slope is. So the bigger that number is in magnitude, the more steep the line is. And the more horizontal we are, the closer we are to 0. Okay? Now, as soon as we pass this breaking point and we go down like this, all of a sudden our slopes become negative. Okay? So we can have negative slopes as well. All right? So let's find the slope given 2 points. So find the slope given 2 points. Okay, so if we're given 2 points, so say you're given the point 6, 5, comma, 7, 8. Okay, how do we do this? Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to label my players x1, y1, x2, y2. And I go back to my formula. Slope is rise over run. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what does this equal to? y2 is 8 minus y1 is 5 divided by x2 is 7 minus x1 is 6. So this is 3 over 1, which is 3. So my slope here is 3. Okay? So it's a steep in the positive direction. All right, let's try another one. Negative 5, comma 3, and negative 5, comma negative 1. Okay? So that's x1, y1, x2, y2. So I want to find the slope between the two. So that's m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 is negative 1 minus y1 is 3 over x2, which is negative 5, minus x1, which is negative 5. Now in the numerator, I have minus and a minus. So minus 1 and a minus 3 is minus 4. In the denominator, I got a minus a negative. What does minus a negative do? That turns that into a plus 5. So a negative 5 and a plus 5 make 0. Now, if you're ever unsure what this is equal to, type it in your calculator. Negative 4 divided by 0. Enter. Overflow, that means undefined. That's undefined. Okay, this is undefined. Can't divide by 0. Thou shalt not divide by 0. You can't divide by 0, guys. Okay, try one more. Negative 3, 4, and 2, 4. Okay, so label first. x1, y1, x2, y2. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if I do this, I get 4 minus 4 over 2 minus minus 3. So 4 minus 4 is 0 over, and then a minus minus makes a plus 3 over 5. And that's undefined, right? Ooh, wait, are we dividing by 0? No, we're dividing by 5. Guys, if you don't know, check it out in your calculator. 0 divided by 5. It gets me so frustrated when I see students mix this up. They put undefined here. It's not undefined. It equals 0. Okay? You're not dividing by 0. You're dividing by 5. Think of it this way. How many, if I split nothing up 5 ways, how much does everybody get? Everybody gets nothing, right? If you got a full pizza, okay, and you split it up 5 ways, everybody gets, 1/5 of the pizza. But if you've got no pizza and you split no pizza up 5 ways, everybody gets no pizza. That's the 0 there, okay? All right, guys, good luck trying to find slope from